Hello everyone and welcome back to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather and I'm now going to be reacting to a video about Sao Paulo in Brazil. It's a vacation travel guide made by Expedia. The reason why I want to do one in Brazil is because they're a sports mad country. Absolutely love sports. They produce some of the greatest football players ever. And it's a country everybody's familiar with when it comes to football. So Sao Paulo, a city in Brazil that I think it's possibly the biggest city in South America. If I'm wrong, apologies. But I wanted to see the travel guide because it would be a place I would love to visit one day. Brazil looks absolutely beautiful. It's an enormous country, but it looks beautiful and I wanted to see Sao Paulo as a city, so let's go. I like the music already.
Sao Paulo in southeast Brazil is the most populous city in the southern hemisphere and one of the biggest on the planet. This once modest missionary outpost has grown out to become the country's economical and cultural powerhouse. Welcome to the fascinating city of Sao Paulo.
That looks absolutely amazing. Look at that.
This is the city, fondly known as Sampa. These are the locals, who call themselves Paulistanos. And this is what brings out their passion. Strong coffee, named cafezinho. Soccer, which they call futebol. And of course, carnival. Sao Paulo may not have Rio's famous beaches, but it makes up for it in culture. In this energetic and creative city, you can enjoy the cool escape of nearly 100 museums and taste flavors from all over the world in some 20,000 cafes and restaurants.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Because Sao Paulo is so incomprehensibly big, it helps to start at the very beginning of its history. The Botanical Gardens in Parque do Estado near the airport preserve some of the Atlantic rainforest that covered much of the Brazilian coast. The landscape was transformed when the Portuguese arrived on a mission to convert the native Amerindians to the Catholic faith. Stand on the very spot where the city was founded by Portuguese Jesuits in 1554 at the Patio do Colégio in the old city center.
Oh, look at that.
The location of their main church, the Praça da Sé, now houses the Neo-Gothic Metropolitan Cathedral with its Renaissance dome, which was modeled on that of the Cathedral of Florence in Italy.
Oh.
In the 17th century, Sao Paulo grew exponentially when a gold rush attracted miners to the region. Next came African slaves, who were imported to work in the sugarcane and coffee plantations.
The Portuguese brought the African slaves.
Brought more Europeans, and the Japanese followed in the 20th century. The resulting melting pot of cultures is the pulsing engine that now drives Brazil's economy. The city's oldest district, Centro, has been home to Latin America's largest stock exchange since 1890. While just across the street is the richly decorated lobby of the former State Bank's headquarters, the Altino Arantes building.
Look at that, made out of pure marble. There's a lot of money in that place.
Avenida Paulista was built on the wealth of the first coffee barons. As the country's financial artery and one of the city's main thoroughfares, the boulevard pulses with the energy of about 1.5 million pedestrians per day. Apart from investing in its financial economy, Sao Paulo also has a policy of boosting its creative economy, making the city one of Brazil's most exciting cultural hubs.
Really interesting place for the tourists anyway, by the looks of it.
The Avenida Paulista is home to the gravity-defying Sao Paulo Museum of Art. Inside, view paintings by acclaimed European masters such as Van Gogh, Raphael, and Picasso, as well as Brazil's own leading artists. This remarkable museum belongs to the people, and it was the wish of the architect that her modernist design would return the same amount of public space that it borrowed, leaving the square underneath open for public enjoyment.
Wow.
Finance and creativity go hand in hand at the Banco do Brasil, a historic financial institution that hosts one of the city's most prominent cultural centers. In a city that sees more than 1 million cars crisscrossing hundreds of miles of interconnected highways each and every day, the pedestrianized Viaduto Santa Ifigenia is a breath of fresh air. This Art Nouveau viaduct links the old center to the new center. Tour the nearby century-old municipal
theater. It's a bit like Rome when you go to Rome in Italy, you see things like that.
Ballet, opera, and other stage shows. The ornate theater was inspired by the famous opera house Palais Garnier in Paris. Find more cultural attractions to the north in the Jardim da Luz district. The historic Julio Prestes train station has been transformed into an esteemed and elegant cultural center. While touring the grand halls of this monumental building,
everything's grandeur, isn't it?
Paolo, a massive wood-paneled concert hall
Never seen anything like
with adjustable ceiling. The resulting acoustics are said to rival those of the famous concert halls of Vienna and Berlin.
Wow.
Nearby is the oldest art museum in Sao Paulo, the Pinacoteca do Estado. Take your time here, because in this beautifully renovated school of arts and crafts, you can admire nearly 9,000 pieces, including many priceless Brazilian collections. There is no better place to experience Brazil's culinary culture than the nearby Mercado Municipal, with its delicious displays of homegrown fruits, cheeses, meats, and other local specialties.
Wow.
Find a table on the mezzanine level to look down on the hustle and bustle and admire the richly decorated windows of this impressive market hall. An eye-catching building of a completely different kind is the Ibirapuera Auditorium, designed by Brazil's prolific architect Oscar Niemeyer. It's part of Ibirapuera Park in the south of the city. While in the park, visit the Museum of Modern Art and the Afro-Brazil Museum, or simply join the locals in the city's favorite playground.
We're going to sporty stuff now.
Sao Paulo wouldn't be a Brazilian city if it didn't have an arena devoted to the nation's biggest sports heroes.
This is what I was looking at.
In the Pacaembu Stadium, soccer legends such as Pelé, Ronaldo, Romario, and Ronaldinho are on show in the highly interactive exhibits of its football museum.
Unbelievable names in football.
A short drive to the west of the stadium is Vila Madalena. Shop for
nice
unique
shop.
souvenirs in one of the colorful stores, or have lunch with the locals. The neighborhood is as famous for its little shops and art galleries as for its marvelous street art. Some of these artists have since made a name for themselves on a world stage. Having risen above its humble beginnings as a missionary outpost in an uncharted land, Sampa is not only Brazil's economic powerhouse, but also the guardian of its priceless, intangible assets. It's a city of culture, creativity, hospitality, and art. Sao Paulo today rides a wave of positive energy into the future and is truly a destination that is much greater than the sum of its parts.
Well, that's the end of the video, and I've got to say I'm quite surprised. I was quite surprised at what Sao Paulo has to offer. It actually reminds me of a little bit of Barcelona with Gaudi. Is it Gaudi? Or Gaudi in Barcelona, with the arts everywhere. You've got art museums everywhere. You've got the cathedrals, the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona as well, which is still not finished being made, but it's beautiful. It kind of reminds me of that Sao Paulo. I was actually expecting to see more of a botanical stuff, like gardens, rainforesty type stuff, with of course massive input in sport, with some fantastic names in football that you've seen in the sports museum. So all in all, it looks like a very clean, friendly, nice place to go visit. So it's something I would really love to visit one day. I'm quite interested in the fact that you have so much different types of art and creativity, and they're really behind pumping a lot of money and time into encouraging people to be artistic and encouraging people to be creative, which is quite unique really, because it's not something you would see here in the UK, so they're obviously really, really into that in a big way. So it is a difference in culture, which is quite interesting to see. But I've enjoyed watching that video. If you've got any other places or things that you'd like to see me reacting to, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. And don't forget, subscribe to the Don's channel and put the notifications bell on as well, so you don't miss any future videos that we release. Thanks very much. I'm the Donfather. Goodbye.